Welcome to my podcast, Office Hours with the Math Sorcerer. In today's episode, I'm going to be answering a brief email that I received from a viewer. This person is a student at Princeton University, which is a fantastic school. The subject is getting ahead, and the message reads as follows. Hello. Your recent video on getting ahead really struck a chord with me. Currently, I am a first-year prospective math major. I've always loved math, and my passion for it throughout high school helped me get great offers for college. I always had studying math in the back of my head, and I had this idea that I would study something else and get a math degree later on in my career if I really wanted to. Fundamentally, that was just a rationalization of my fears. I was afraid that I wasn't smart enough to study math alongside the math majors at my school. So instead of taking an introductory analysis class like I should have, I took organic chemistry and told myself I'd be a chemist because I thought I was a better fit to be successful in that field. But there was no passion there. After a mess of a first semester during which I was challenged in all the wrong areas, I talked to some faculty in the math department and planned out a tentative schedule. The second semester was to start with a proof-based linear algebra course. I had no prior experience with proofs, and I had no clue where to even begin with the sample problems. So during my winter break, I got Axler's text early and started learning it bit by bit. Now that classes have started, I can easily follow the topics in lecture, participate, and even answer the harder questions. All it took was that first step of picking up a book, and now I have nothing but excitement for the future of my studies. It's astounding how much of a hindrance one's own mind can be. So there really is no question here, but I do have a lot to say about this email because I think we can all learn from this. The first point I want to make is you took that step, and that step was a big step. I have known people just like you who didn't take that step. I had a friend who studied chemistry, and he got his PhD in chemistry, and he had a successful career. He did a postdoc. He did some research. I don't know where he is now. I think last I heard, he was in management. But initially, math was his passion, and he was French, and I think the way things work there is you take a test, and depending on your scores, that kind of dictates what you can study and how you can study it. But math was his passion, and he was really good at math, and he helped me. So listening to your story, chemist turned math, it's kind of like you're living the opposite life that he's lived. And I'm sure he's had a great life choosing chemistry, but it's just interesting that you started with chemistry and you found your passion in math. I also want to mention your book, Axler's Text. I'm assuming you're talking about linear algebra done right. That is a wonderful book. I am super impressed that you were able to pick up that book and read it and learn and prepare. That's really, really impressive. But I think the big thing everyone should take away from this is that we shouldn't let our fears stop us. We all let fear stop us every day. Sometimes you think, hey, I want to do this, but I'm not going to do it. And so we rationalize it in our minds, just like you said in the email. It's a rationalization of our fears. And we do this all the time. Sometimes this is good. Fear can be a good thing. It's a defense mechanism. It keeps us from doing things that are just not good to do, right? Stupid things that could get us into trouble. So it's important, to have that emotion. But a lot of times we let fear stop us from doing things. And your fear, not being smart enough to study math, is a real one. It's a fear that a lot of people have. What makes it even better is that you're in Princeton. So you're obviously a smart person. You got into Princeton University, which is, arguably one of the best schools in the entire world. I mean, Princeton is amazing. The fact you even got into Princeton says a lot. Same time, I can see your fears. If I try to put myself in your position as a student, let's say in Princeton, I know that those Princeton math majors are no joke. And now you're one of those math majors at Princeton. So yeah, if a math major at Princeton is afraid that he's not smart enough, then I think that, it kind of gives everyone else permission to also be a little bit afraid. And I think we all are. I think we work on math, and some days are better than others. You blow through a proof, you feel smart, and sometimes you're working on math and you get stuck on something, and then someone shows you how to do it, and you're like, whoa, yeah, that was so easy. That's a good thing, because then you can learn from that. The bad situations are when someone shows you how to do it and it still doesn't make sense. Then you go online and you look it up and it still doesn't make sense. And no matter how many answers you have in front of you, how many explanations you have, it still doesn't make sense. That's when you feel bad about math. That's when you feel like maybe you're not good enough. So it's a very normal feeling. And I think that's what we all should take away from this video, is that math is hard. We all struggle with it. Even the smartest people in the world struggle with math. It's a difficult subject. And we all have fears. And not being smart enough is one of those fears. In your case, you didn't let it stop you. And I think that's a very positive thing and a very good message that we can all take away from your email. So thank you, anonymous student from Princeton. And I do have his name. I just don't want to read it because, I don't want it to be out there. So try to be respectful of all questions I get and try to protect everyone's identity. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode of Office Hours with the Math Sorcerer. Until next time, good luck. Take care.